Well, very relieved to come out of here with a win. It was a hard-fought game. I really knew that it would be. I watched that team on tape here a little bit this summer, just out of interest, to kind of see what they looked like. And then obviously their first three games, and they're a good football team. I knew it was going to be hard-fought. I really think in some ways we got all the breaks tonight. Now, we created some on our own, so, there's obviously credit to be given there in that. But really happy here with my players in terms of the energy that they played with, the passion that they brought to the game tonight. I think they understood the significance of this football game. I don't think I ever once offered anything all week long that made this game about me in any way, any communication about my old team. I really never went there. I kind of have a formula that I follow. I kind of believe in the formula, and I kind of stayed with it here this week. I think the most telling thing to me today was I was reminded of how precious it is to be a head football coach and the privilege that you have to lead these young people. And I had an opportunity to impact the lives of some of these student athletes on both teams. And the Liberty kids were extremely cordial, warm, and complimentary after the football game. I had some kids say some things to me that, you just hope that people might say to you one day. And then I celebrated with my football team in the locker room. I presented the game ball tonight to Coach Rocco, and I have that football right here. So I was very, very predetermined, premeditated on that decision right there. I think you guys might have thought I should give it to Jacoby, but I chose to give the football to myself here tonight. Both teams played hard. Liberty played hard. Coach Gill's an outstanding football coach. He had his team prepared to play tonight, and it was a really, really good physical contest. Probably the most definitive thing I said tonight heading out of the locker room, I told my football team that life is about choices, life is about decisions. I said the best decision I've ever made is to come here to the University of Richmond to be your head football coach. And they responded in a very positive way. At this time, I'll take any questions here from the media.
Coach, what jazzed up that rushing game?
Well, probably an attitude adjustment. There was certainly an awful lot of attention put on it here this week. A lot of intensity was laid out there about it this week. And then our kids responded in a very favorable way. They were a totally different looking defense schematically than the team we played last week. All right, so the running lanes were different. Last week we never got any running lanes out there. And again, that's our fault. We needed to do a better job with certain things. But we knew we were going to get some running lanes out there tonight. Our offensive line was physical tonight. And our backs ran hard tonight. I'm just kind of glancing down here. Jacoby was 181. It's pretty impressive. And then TJ had the 2 touchdown runs. So, and having Ben back was significant. I don't look backwards, but if we had Ben all the way through this thing, I think we'd be feeling a little different about where we're at right now. He's an exceptional player. We use him as a wildcat quarterback. We use him as a punt returner. He's a leader on the sideline and on the bench. I think he had 9 catches tonight for 100 yards. So, good to have him back.
You talked about the breaks that went your way. Obviously, the fumble down there. Des said he wasn't even hit, really. He just kind of dropped it. How big of a momentum shift was that?
Yeah, it's probably as significant of a momentum swing as there was in the game. I have said this to a few people here this week. I'm real close to Des Rice now. This is a great kid. This kid, when we recruited him, he and my son are best friends. Des has been over my house 100 times. Boy, did he run well tonight. He ran well tonight. I look forward to seeing that play on film to see if someone did punch that thing. And my kids are real good about punching the ball out, So I do think that was, and then obviously the 2 field goal attempts were big. The first one was huge. I thought that, for them to cut it to one score, I think we needed to keep it 2 scores. We needed to keep it 2 scores. And for us to get for Pettis to get a handle on that first one was huge. The second one, it looked like they botched the snap and the hold a little bit, which is common practice out there in this kind of weather. So that was a big play too. But I let the fumble and then that particular first field goal attempt that Wayne blocked were probably the 2 biggest momentum swings in the game.
How much did the weather affect your game plan?
Well, it really very little in the first half. In the second half, we didn't throw it quite as well. I was not as comfortable with throwing the ball, especially some of our deeper throws down the field. And it was a factor all night long. I say it all the time. It's always a factor, never an excuse. But, you guys were out there. I guess you guys were inside. But I was out there, and it was raining real hard. So it is a factor. And we were yelling and screaming for towels and dry balls and all that. So I'd say it did affect the game plan a little bit. And you kind of saw there in the second half there weren't as many points scored there in the second half as far as explosive plays and, big plays for touchdown. And I think the weather did factor in on that.
You emphasized that your preparation this week, you tried to make it the same.
Yeah.
Are you relieved that this is over?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, John, this game has really bothered me since February. I did not want to play this football game. I knew they were an improving team. They had talent. I knew all the kids. I knew all the relationships. I just didn't see an upside in playing it. The expectation was going to be we're going to beat them. You know what I mean? So, so working backwards from that, what's the upside in me playing this game here, after our setback last week, it kind of really spun things a little bit. It turned this into almost a must-win. And I certainly never said that to my kids, but, a non-conference game I could never offer as a must-win. You know what I'm saying? There's so many. I was there for 6 years, and I've got so many relationships there. And it was a very difficult process to move through. But in the moment, taking the field, it was special. Seeing Bill Gillespie, Ed Gomes, Jeff Barber, their athletic director, everything felt really nice, felt really good. I just know I'd be heartbroken if I wasn't sitting here tonight with the win.